Welcome to Start Making, I'm Mark. Today we are going to make Christmas trees. Not the big ones, little ones, decorative ones like this, or like this. What do you mean that's not Christmassy enough? Alright, you asked for it.
Oh my God! Merry Christmas!
How's that? Bit better? Bit more Christmassy? It is November, so it's hard to get all enthusiastic about Christmas, but look at all the trees we're going to show you how to make today. Super simple, all made out of scrap wood and really easy for everybody from beginner upwards can make these and really enjoy doing it. Save money this Christmas, use up all your scrap wood, and let's make some trees. The first one we're going to make is a huge use of scrap wood. All we need to do is just cut it down into the right lengths, draw a triangle on your table so that you can get it tapered. And then after we've done that, we just need to give them a little finish on the spinning sander, get the ends nice and soft. So now we need to pop the holes in each piece to sit on top of this dowel that I've got. 9mm dowel. There's a better way to do this. Either way works. So when drilling the holes here, put a board underneath so you don't get any blowout. Just have one of these small engineer squares and you're good to go. And if you get any slip, don't be afraid to pilot drill. Be careful to take it nice and slow, otherwise it does get a lot of tear out on the top. It's not the end of the world, but if you want a nicer finish, take it nice and slow. Okay, so now we've got them all sanded and we've got the hole in them. You could wax them, you could oil them. I am going to use lacquer. The reason I'm going to do that is I can get 3 or 4 coats on it really quick and it's not as sticky as something like a polyurethane varnish, so I think they will move against each other much nicer. I need to make a base. I've got an old floorboard and I'm going to turn that into the base. I might even chamfer it. I'm just going to cut it down to a size that I think is going to hold the tree up. And now it's time to see if we can put it together. Did anybody write down what order they were in? Me neither.
You idiot!
Okay, so let me get them in order and then we're going to thread our pieces on. Okay, I did it. Look how cool that is. And if you're space deprived, you could have it like this, but if you have the space to do it, that is so infuriating. But once you've got it done, quick, take a picture because I'm not doing it again. That was my favourite. So for this next one, I've been pushing my art skills to the absolute limit and I've drawn out a tree. Okay, so I cut it out, I shaded around it, and now with my limited jigsaw skill, I'm going to cut as close to it as I can get. I'm going to set my jigsaw onto the slowest, most painful to watch, dullest setting, so that it doesn't rip out as much, and we'll see how that goes. It's rough, but I think that looks really cool. I've even got enough wood left to make a little base for it. I I've put a tiny brass loop in the top there. Probably not the right thing for the job. Probably a hook would have been better there. But with that and a candle on the front, look at that. You could put a bauble in there. You could put a tiny picture of someone you love. Make it bigger. If you've got a big one, then you could really put a beautiful family photo in there. Feeling Christmassy yet? I am. So for the next one, I have to give full credit to Matthew Peach over on his channel. He has done a brilliant job of explaining things that sell for the holidays. So thank you for the inspiration. For this, my art is once again going to let us down probably because it's another template. He's got plans you can download. I've freehanded it. I would suggest from the way this has gone that you should probably go and get his template off his Etsy page. So the first thing we need to do is just cut the template out, lay the wood where we think we're going to use it, and then decide how we're going to decorate it. Confession time, I'm no expert on Christmas trees, but that is a beautiful Christmas tree.
Nailed it.
Make it bigger. If you want it bigger, use bigger slats. Make this exactly how you want it to be. It's your Christmas. And once you've got it all laid out, all you need to do then is just trace it onto your piece of wood. Make sure that you're not leaving yourself any difficult areas with all these spikes. So for each piece you've marked, it's well worth just doing a little scribble to know where you're going to be chopping it off. And then you've got two choices with this really. I'm going for the whole follow Matt Peach, he knows what he's doing. I'm cutting each board individually and then I'll glue them together. You could just joint these all together and then cut out the shape all together in one go. So with each of the pieces cut out, looking a little bit rough, now we've just got a heck of a lot of sanding and you don't need to see that. So it's up to you whether you want to stain them, paint them, do whatever you want, leave it bare, burn them. Whatever you need to do to make this look how you want it in your house, perfect. And then we're going to make a stand for the back and a base and that's it. Just did a little bit of wood dye just to see how it would go. Looks all right. We're just going to glue everything up. And I can't really get clamps on much of this, so it might be a bit of blue tape that we need. Now, there's a few areas here where we're doing end grain glue up. So I am just smearing in glue so that the pores soak it up and then the next layer of glue that goes in will stick and not soak away before it can bond the wood together. I've given it a bit more sanding to, I don't know, hopefully enhance the distressed look on it. And then I've just given it a coat of lacquer. I gave the back a one spray coat of white. I don't want to make it look perfect. I don't want it to shine. I just want it to look rustic and homemade. Now we need a stand. All I've done is cut an L-shape piece of pine, 3 holes in the back, and that is going to rest up against the back of the tree. And then I've just got another scrap bit of pine board that I'm going to put underneath as a stand. So I thought about what I was going to do to finish it because it was not quite Christmassy enough. And with this, there are a couple of ideas. I've just stuck some lights on there. Turn the lights off, you can just get an idea of how nice that looks. I had one other idea. Instead of putting the lights on this, if you've got kids at home and you want to get crafty with them, countersink some rare earth magnets in the back here, spread them all over, and then get the kids and you to make some decorations with magnets on the back, and then they can move them around every morning. And you can make it into a sort of advent calendar. Add a decoration on every day up to Christmas, and then at Christmas it's going to look super special. The next tree we're going to make is one that has been across all of the Facebook groups, really popular, and it's so simple. All you need to have is 2 things, wood and something that can cut you 30 degrees at the end of it.
I just grabbed a spoon.
So it all joins together. It's a 3-tiered tree, and I'm just going to be using this. This is 4.5 by 1.5. I need to find a way of ripping this down to about, I don't know, just under 1 inch in width. I'm going to show you how I do it, but I'm not going to show you me doing it because I do think it's a bit sketchy. If you feel comfortable doing it, happy days. If you don't, find a different way of doing it. There are other ways. You could cut it with a handsaw and then plane it, or you could just buy stock that is the right depth. You'll see what I mean when I say this is sketchy. I've just put 2 pieces of wood and clamped them to my table. Then what I'm going to do is pop another piece here and then run the circular saw along. This supports it left and right, and then it balances on this piece so that you don't get tip, and that will slice the piece of wood down to the right depth. Why this is sketchy, okay? This piece of wood's not fixed. I'm going to use double-sided tape to tape it to my bench to stop it slipping, but it's still a sketchy cut, and if you're not 100% comfortable doing it, this is not the way that you should do it. So, as with everything, I've got a mocked up diagram of what I want it to look like. Roughly chopped down some blocks of the wood that we've stripped down to the right width, and I've got them into the length a little bit longer than what the diagram wants, because now we need to put the 30-degree angle on. What I need to do is use the jig that I have for my circular saw that basically lets it run on a track, and then I need to put a 60-degree wedge in there, and then that will allow me to hold the wood against it and get a 30-degree cut on. The Christmas tree has got two sides, like any tree, it's got two sides, but here they are absolutely equal. So there are two pairs of pieces. Don't worry if you're accurate or not, just get those to match, and then the tree will at least not be lopsided. Okay, so once you've cut the pieces out, what you're left with is a load of pieces with tapered edges, 30 degrees on every single one. Some have got a taper going on the same side, some have got one on opposites, depending on which piece they are. Number them. If you forget where you're going to put them, it's going to make it a real pain. I would highly recommend, if you're going to batch these out, make yourself a jig. There's plenty of videos on YouTube of people that are actually batching these out and show you where the jig should be. Because we've used a circular saw, I haven't even cut the pieces that join it together, because I'm going to make one per tree, because I think there's going to be some discrepancies there. Got a pin nailer, now is the time to get it out. What I'm going to do is just glue the sides together, making sure that they are absolutely square with each other, and then I'm going to do the top and worry about that at the end. I know pine trees are jagged and all that, but these feel a little bit too jagged. I think I made this angle too acute. That is what led me to changing the angles, and this is the more popular one you'll see online with the flat top here. You can put little shelves in here if you really want to. So once I've got all the dust off these, I'm just going to use some of the grey dye that I used on one of my other trees, and I'm just going to go over it really roughly, just rubbing on a bit of dye. I think they've come out a little bit dull, a little bit plain, but one thing I have noticed, and I'm not going to do it, but if you want a nice contrast, if they're identical, glue two together and maybe pop in a couple of loops down the middle, and you can hang things right in the middle. I think that'll give it a really good 3D effect. I'm personally going to rub the grey ones down with a little bit of 240 grit to try and get some of the bare wood back through, give it a bit of a distressed look. And if it looks good, I'll put some finish on it and it's done. I think these came out beautifully. I love the distressed look on the grey. You could really easily customise them. I've just popped a little brass hook in the top there, and then it's got a little bauble in it, and all of a sudden it's a bit more fancy. Double up, pop a little candle in there. Obviously not a real candle, because your bauble's going to melt, and nobody likes their baubles melting. So the next one we're going to do is a great way of using up scrap wood. Any kind you want. You can use plywood, or you can use hardwood or softwood, whatever you've got. Now, clamping these bits of wood together was a real pain, so I've just opted for some glue and some blue tape. It's really easy, and the blue tape just holds it together while the glue dries. So I'm thinking on their own they're going to be meh, but they are all the same size, so I think I'm going to take some little battens, cut them up, stick them between them to bring them out a little bit, and I think that'll look super cool. What I've done with the three triangles, as you saw, I joined them together because I wanted to give it, one, more stability, but two, a better way to decorate it, make it look more Christmassy. I stained it dark. Don't know if that was a mistake or not, you tell me. And then, ooh, Christmas lights around the middle, decorations on the front. You could even put decorations on the back if you're in a place where you want it to be nice from both sides. You've got it in a window maybe, so the front's beautiful, the back's beautiful. But that, I absolutely love. That came out way, way better than I thought it would. And so simple. And scrap wood. I'm going to leave a link to these lights in the description. They're not very expensive, and if you can go through the pain of feeding them all through, I think they look really effective, and they're just battery powered. This one was my favourite. Which one was yours? Comment down below. These are super easy to make. You've got plenty of time till Christmas. If you finish them in time, why not have a look at these? Something to gift, something to sell. I'll see you on the next one.